Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. We have waited what feels like years and probably more for news and casting reveals and now the official trailer for Fantastic Four. But the time has finally come. The wait is over. The trailer just dropped and we are going to check it out. I'm super excited about this. I've been following this whole journey like many of you, from the castings of Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby and Ebon Moss-Bachrach and Joseph Quinn to kind of the tone, the setting of this film, and so much more. As you can imagine, I, like many of you, have been really excited about Fantastic Four and the return of Marvel's first family in what feels like over a decade. It feels like a long time since we got a Fantastic Four film, and this is actually going to be the first one that I think falls within the reign and the umbrella of the MCU. And so these characters will likely be ones that we'll see in the new future conflicts, in the new Avengers films. And like I said, we've waited a long time for it. And so without further ado, we're going to check out the trailer. And then at the end of checking out the trailer, we're going to do a full breakdown of everything that we see frame by frame and really try to dissect, every ounce of this minute-long trailer that we see, and hopefully get some clues into maybe who the boss, or kind of not the boss, but like the big bad is going to be, and how the events of this film could potentially play into future events down the road. And so enough of my rambling, guys. I'm way too excited. It's currently 5 a.m., but that doesn't matter. Without further ado, hope you brought the popcorn as we jump into the first official trailer for the Fantastic Four: First Steps. Let's go, baby.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7.
Pedro Pascal.
No what. We're all here.
Vanessa Kirby.
Herbie, how's that sauce coming? Yeah, I'll be the judge of that. Okay.
Dude, I gotta say, it looks pretty solid.
Is this guy good or what? I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious, I just want to add a little bit of zip, okay?
Wow, Ebon was such a great casting, honestly.
Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock.
The best pilot in the world right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Joseph Quinn.
Ben has always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
Hi.
And I am right here.
Dude.
Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
Dude, the thematic tone is so sick.
As a family.
Was that Galactus? Dude, there's no shot. All right, guys. Wow. There you have it. That was the fastest minute and a half I think I've experienced in a while. And there was so much to take in with this trailer, so much with the theme and the tone, and just seeing a lot of the actors that have been cast in this role in the first time as they're playing their characters in the element. It was a lot to take in. There was so much about this trailer that I want to take a moment to kind of break down and really dissect with you guys. So before we continue, I do want to give a brief disclaimer, right? There are going to be some things that I miss. There are going to be some things that maybe seem obvious to you, those that are really in tune with, Fantastic Four lore. I'm just a guy that really enjoys trailers and loves to sharing the experience and the hype with you guys. So if there's anything at the end of this trailer breakdown that you see that I missed, let me know in the comments. I'm always looking to get educated. And without further ado, let's take a look. So the trailer kind of starts off opening the doors to what is obviously I don't know what the term is for it, if it's like the Fantastic Four Tower, but I've always imagined it feeling very akin to like Avengers Tower in a way, but it's exclusive to the Fantastic Four. Now, we've already known that the setting is going to be a little bit more on the past side, but what I really enjoy about this trailer and what I enjoyed about the teaser that we got yesterday about this trailer is that they really have fully embraced the kind of retro, old school aesthetic. I believe this is in the 80s or something like that. And so, you know, you could tell and get a sense of that with the fashion and the doors. But what's cool about it too is it also feels very futuristic in its tone. It does this really cool thing where it blends the two together. And while some of the outfits and some of the costumes definitely seem more like you would see something like this, you know, 40 years ago, it is really cool that some elements like the tower itself and the way that it's structured does feel futuristic in a way. It's almost like an alternate universe, and maybe that's exactly what they were going for. But if that's the case, they nailed it. Obviously, we see Vanessa Kirby and the one and only Pedro Pascal, who will be playing Sue Storm, and obviously Reed Richards. And before we continue, I do want to, I mean, we got to talk about this. This is the first time that we're seeing these two actors in this role as these characters. And I remember what feels like months ago that it was finally announced who was going to be playing these characters, and everybody wanted to know. It was something that we had all waited on bated breath for, and when it finally came out, Vanessa Kirby, I was really like, yeah, that's a solid choice. Pedro Pascal was one that I was actually kind of surprised by. I was happy about it for sure. And Pedro Pascal is obviously having a legendary run when it comes to the roles that he's been able to play. I mean, some of my favorite characters have been played recently by Pedro Pascal, and obviously he's playing Joel in The Last of Us. Now he's here playing Reed Richards. I mean, when I heard about all these castings, I was like, dude, this guy's getting work. His stock value is obviously going to heavily increase after people see him in this role, and obviously this is ideally just a prelude to what we're going to see in the future. And obviously Fantastic Four and the Marvel's first family is obviously going to play a big role in that. But just look at them, guys. I mean, this is pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see the new Sue Storm and Reed Richards. Again, this just has me very, very excited. All right, so then we get our classic Marvel Studios, but again, keeping it in a new theme. We get our first look at the Avengers Tower adjacent, the Fantastic Tower, Fantastic Four Tower, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, the Fantastic Four are big, big kind of figures in this world, and it's really cool to kind of see this like kind of celebrity family, that are obviously famous for, their own reasons. I think they're like famed astronauts, right? And from what I know about the lore and the story, as their expedition meets some unexpected challenges, and they come back and obviously have super abilities and become a super family. But it's cool, and it's just cool to see this trailer, man. I mean, it feels like so long that we've seen a trailer for, we've seen Fantastic Four, and we waited so long for it, and it's crazy that it's finally here. We also get our first look at Ebon Moss-Bachrach playing the Thing, right? Again, this is actually our first look at the suit. We've gotten some images way back when that highlighted the suits, and it's all Marvel's first family all sitting together at a table. But this is the first time in action that we're seeing the suits, and I don't know what you guys think, but again, it blends the line really well of this like, retro aesthetic blended with what feels like futuristic technology in a way. And again, seeing the robot also feels futuristic. So, it's something that I'm that feels almost like surreal in a way as you're watching it. But Ebon Moss-Bachrach was such a great casting. I loved him in The Bear, and so to see him come into this role, and when I saw he was cast as the Thing, I loved it. And I also love that his character is obviously a little bit of a foodie or a food aficionado in a way, which is so funny because in his most recent role, obviously he played the one and only cousin in The Bear. One of my favorite characters, has the most incredible glow up and transformation in the most recent season. And so to see him kind of critiquing the food a little bit in a way, I thought was a really funny touch. And I don't know if that was something that they thought would be great because he was on The Bear, and that really fit with this character. But I love the moment here where he's like, yeah, it's not because it's not good, but I'm going to throw a little bit of garlic just for a little pizzazz, a little zing. And there we go. Once again, seeing Marvel's first family, or seeing Reed and, Sue sit together, obviously waiting for the dinner that they said that they all have together, really, highlighting the fact that they're all kind of this one big family, which is pretty cool. In this scene too, you can also get a glimpse at a lot of things that I think play into the world a little bit. I love the lighting structure that we see up here. Again, I just feel like it feels very futuristic, but you look at something like the clock and that feels like something you'd see way back when, as well as a lot of the other, cookware that you see here. A lot of fresh ingredients here. The pot doesn't really look like anything out of the ordinary, but this teapot and the cups that we see over here definitely looks like something we'd see in the 80s. Again, really playing into that theme. This might be the most thematic shift I think we've seen from Marvel in a while. I think I said this before, I feel like Marvel plays a lot on futuristic tech and plays into the future quite a bit, you know, with a lot of its recent projects. At least, you know, they like to play a lot in the current time of things, and then plays into the future with things like Guardians of the Galaxy and the Marvels. I think the Marvels might have actually been in the past too, but Captain Marvel, I think, was the last film that I remember, you know, that really played into a way back when kind of feel, you know, and the overall aesthetic of that, from the way Nick Fury looked and many of its characters in its world, definitely felt akin to, like, you know, this is kind of a retro, you know, taking it back style. And so I like that Marvel is going back to that a little bit and playing into that, but also giving it a futuristic feel. And again, I love that they cast Eban. You know, I think Eban was a highly underrated actor. You know, I think The Bear really highlighted his skills. And so it was really cool to see an actor like that get a big role like this. And once again, we're seeing Reed Richards. I gotta say, can we just take a moment to appreciate this whiteboard, what I feel to be a whiteboard, and this room? You know, obviously we see this July, the film's going to be launching. I don't know if we'll probably get another trailer for this film probably sometime in, I would say maybe, if I had to guess, probably March or April, we could see another trailer for it as we get closer to the launch of the film. But yeah, I love the whiteboard. Again, but you know, this film is supposed to be one that I believe is in the past, but here we are with so much what feels like futuristic technology. And you know, obviously, you know, Pedro Pascal, the one and only Reed Richards. I love the look of this shot too, where we see Pedro's character, you know, with the sleeves rolled up, you know, working on some calculations, maybe trying to figure out a potential cure for the things that ail them. Either that's after they, you know, get their abilities, or this is before, where they're trying to. Reed Richards is always a smart guy. And so to see him kind of here, you know, working on some calculations felt very Reed. A really cool shot. Then we see everybody kind of suiting up. Our first time. This is obviously what I would assume to be before events go awry and everything hits the fan. But it was really cool. It's cool to see them all, you know, astronauts going up into into outer space and all of that stuff. Then we see our first look at their spacecraft. Again, playing into that, like, futuristic yet, you know, past like feel. Them traveling up, talking to Sue, talking about, hey, before everything went to hell, you know, you couldn't go invisible. And, you know, he wasn't a rock. Johnny wasn't going up in flames. You know, at the end of the day, everybody's still here. And I feel like this relationship that we see here between Eban and Pedro's character, I feel like it's just going to be really fun to see. I'm very excited about it. You know, I think two incredible actors playing two really great characters, you know, Ben Grimm and obviously Reed Richards, I think, at least from what I remember way back when, have a really cool, fun relationship. We see Joseph Quinn's character, Johnny Storm, leaping into action, I should say, and going full flame on. I don't know if he's going to say that. That's akin to the comics, right? Like that's canon, right? Like, you know, the classic flame on. And so I'm excited to see Joseph Quinn play Johnny Storm. You know, Johnny was always a character that, you know, obviously, you know, what I remember is him. You know, my earliest impression of Johnny Storm was played by the one and only Chris Evans. And so to see him, you know, to see a new rendition of that classic character, it's kind of surreal in a way. Again, I feel like we've waited so long for Fantastic Four. You know, say what you will about the last one. I don't think many people really think too much about it. It was a very interesting take on the classic characters, but this feels like classic back to Marvel form. I'm really excited. Dude, I'm just so excited about these characters. We see potentially Johnny. This is like the first sense of like their abilities, right? Johnny going into outer space, potentially testing his limits of his flight. You know, obviously as he goes higher, you know, the air becomes thinner, which isn't good for flames. And, you know, this is where I think you see him kind of passing out or something like that. Sue using her abilities. Listen, guys, listen. I'm not trying to simp too hard. But when I saw Vanessa Kirby was going to be Sue Storm, I got really excited. And seeing this shot of her, this is great. This is going on my wall. This is about to be my screensaver because this looks fantastic. The relationship between Reed and Sue, Johnny obviously reaching his limit. I don't know if it would appear that this was like intentional or something. You know, maybe he's testing it. Then we see kind of an apocalyptic event going on here as the, you know, 4 members of Marvel's first family join forces together, staring out into the abyss, which is pretty cool. and obviously, you know, ready to face whatever happens next. Kids who have come to really not only appreciate but admire and adore the Fantastic Four, wearing Ben Grimm, you know, the Things tees and having the masks on, which I think is really cool, and I think really shows the impact of these characters. Like, they really are kind of seen like the Avengers in a way. Like, people look to them to save the day, and it seems like they're going to have a real impact on the youth of this film. And I think having youth and having families in this film really plays a lot into that. And obviously we saw that in the teaser as well, where we see kids running up to the TV excited to see the launch of Fantastic Four. You know, obviously it seemed like that was before the events of everything that happens that leads them to be superheroes. Before then, it seems like they were already individuals that had the respect and admiration, you know, amongst everybody, which is pretty cool. So, you know, we kind of see them. We see what seems to be a really cool, like, retro style, but also seems futuristic vehicle, you know, zipping down the highway. We see Johnny, you know, cruising through the skies, which I'm really excited to see. You know, those kind of flight sequences that we saw back in the earliest Fantastic Four movie were easily some of my favorites. And so I'm really excited to kind of see, you know, more of that in this film. I think that's going to be really, really juiced. And then we go from there. We see Ben Grimm running across the street, looking like he's about to crash into a wall. You know what I mean? Ben, I think, is definitely a favorite amongst a lot of fans of Fantastic Four as well, which is pretty cool. And then moving on from there, we see a Gandalf-looking individual. I have no idea who this is. Let me know if you guys have any guesses. I honestly couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I feel like this is probably a very important figure, but I have no idea. We see Reed looking out to the distance. This is the shot I want to talk about, though. Holy moly. Is this our first look at Galactus? Reigning over what appears to be a retro old school style in 1980s New York City. And we see Galactus, and then we get this shot right here. I was like, no freaking. This may have already been teased that Galactus was going to be the big bad in this film. If that was, I forgot. And so this was kind of a shocking moment for me, where I was like, oh, you know, I had a feeling that we were going to get a teaser or a look at whoever the big bad was in this movie. But, you know, to see Galactus reigning over, about to rain hell upon New York City, and the Fantastic Four have to take him on, I think it's going to be really sick. I think a lot of people have been looking and excited about Galactus joining and becoming a part of the MCU for a long time. I think after the whole events of Thanos, I think there was a lot of speculation that Galactus was going to be the next big bad amongst a number of other, you know, potential candidates. But it turns out that wasn't the case. It was Galactus, and now it seems like it's going to be Dr. Doom. And that led a lot of questions when that was revealed to who is exactly going to be the big bad in this Fantastic Four film. And it seems like it'll be Galactus. So that's going to be really interesting. Very excited about that. And there you have it, guys. That is your trailer. One more look at Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm. And all I have to say is I'm very excited about this film. I love Vanessa Kirby. And then we get this shot right here. Holy moly. I'm going to just leave this right here. This is too nice. Way too clean. Seeing the entire gang all together in their suits. And I love how it looks like they were kind of revealed in this big, like, thematic way, maybe potentially being revealed to the world or something. But super cool, man. Super cool. Very excited. I love how their suits still resemble them as, like, astronauts, which I think, you know, plays very much into, you know, their humble beginnings, their origins before they become superheroes. And, you know, yeah, I just really love the suit, the theme, the tone, the sound, the style, everything, guys. Everything looks awesome. And so that is it, guys. There you have it, your full breakdown of Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four First Steps. Very excited about this film. Was very much anticipating every ounce of info that we got, and of course very much looking forward to the trailer. And it's crazy to think that it's finally here. It feels like time moves so fast, but at the same time moves so slow. And, you know, it feels like before you know it, you're getting the trailer, and then before you know it, it'll be July, and we'll be watching the movie together, breaking it down. Really excited about all of that to come. And so thank you guys so much for joining me on this. You know, again, if I missed anything, please let me know in the comments. I'm always looking to get educated. If there's some deep lore about a character or something that potentially I missed, I would always love, you know, any insight you guys have is always very much welcome. And again, I'm just a guy who loves a good trailer, loves being excited about things like this, and loves sharing that excitement with each and every one of you. So if you do enjoy the video, you want to see more content, more trailer breakdowns just like this, I love doing this kind of stuff. Drop a like on this video. It's a great way to help and support the channel. Subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more trailers, trailer breakdowns, and reactions, all that kind of stuff. And comment down below, what was something that really stood out to you in this trailer? As always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.